good to see everyone during the coronavirus pandemic outbreak that we're still living in under. I see Peter. How are you guys? I see some new faces as well. Emily, how are you? And for those of you who are joining us that are here as first timers, welcome. This is the new voice. Hopefully you're not here to Zoom bomb, but we're here as part of the Toastmasters chapter of the New School. And as part of the Toastmasters chapter, we are all here as part of our public speaking exposure therapy. And so what we're going to ask is that if you can, to please put on your cameras. That way we all get a sense of who's in the audience, and it helps us as speakers to get better with confronting that fear of being on camera. I do see some new faces. Welcome to the new ones. I think we'll get to you guys hopefully here in a bit. But for those of you who are returning, hopefully you guys are all still connected to the support channel. And the first thing that if you are new and everyone else should do at this point is find the New Voice Live channel in the Gridview and pin that to your screen. You can pin it by double tapping it. There's also a menu drop down that says pin this video. That's our stage. So that's what we hope everybody's going to direct their attention to. And as you can see on our stage, we've got various different ways to arrange the camera. We also have the support channel. So if anybody's on the support channel now, please start posting your feedback and gifts so that that will show up live. And the other thing to note for those of you who are here for the first time, yes, we are live streaming to YouTube. And so for those
Henry,
of you, yes,
Henry,
Rajiv.
Yeah, as far as the sign-up sheet for table topics, can somebody post that link in the chat?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great cue for me as well. So we have Sean. Let me get Sean on the screen. Bear with me here.
I'm on it. I'm on it, Henry.
So say hello to Sean, everyone. Sean is a longtime member of our New Voice Club. He's also our tech guy for our meetings. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to chat him up in the message, and he'll get you situated as far as the chat's concerned. And yes, hopefully he'll be also posting the link for our table topic sign up. And that's always going to be your way to get on the speaker list for us. So keep that link going forward. It's the same link every week. And we're getting to a place where people are starting to sign up before the meetings too. So hopefully we get to a place where the slots are all filled and you guys are racing to get on that list. The other person I'd like to introduce is Kaylee Frank-Lair. Say hello to Kaylee, everyone.
Hello. What an official introduction, my full name. Thank you for that. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see y'all. Great to see faces out there in the world. I'm the president of the club, The New Voice. Henry and Sean have been instrumental in getting us up online. So for those of you who've been coming for the past, I think we've been doing this 7 weeks now. Thank you so much. Welcome to new guests. And I'm saying hello for now, and I'm going to turn it back over to Henry, who's the Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you for that, Kaylee. Yeah, we've been at this for a while. And unfortunately, we're still working out some kinks, as you can see. And you're going to have to pardon me because the one-man show here, and I'm still trying to figure out how this all works. But the goal has always been from the time we started is to make this as professional as we can, to create a stage that creates the same kind of feeling we have in person. But since we're under the coronavirus pandemic, we're having to do this via the camera. And so it's been a real learning process for us. It's still a learning process for me. I still have to remember to look at the camera versus the screen. And that's really going to be the hard part for me is relearning some skills that we haven't had to use before. And that's why we're doing it. And that's why I think we're all here at Toastmasters, is to get better at something that we are maybe not so great at. And with that being said, I think what I wanted to do is to take a minute before we get our show on the road and talk about kind of the reasons why we're all here. You know, so my name is Henry Kang. I apologize for not introducing myself in the beginning. I've been a longtime member of the New Voice. And in person, one of the things that I always talk about is why it's so difficult to talk to strangers. You know, there's this, everyone knows the study that says that speaking in front of the public is our #1 fear, more so than death. And that's been something that has been a curiosity for me for a very long time. Why is it such a terrifying thing to talk to strangers? And as I've gone through that journey of trying to understand that, it's taken me into places that I never really expected. One of those places is a place of Zen, which is, for those of you who know me, know that's all I ever talk about. But it's really about a place that tries to conquer the fear that resides in us all. And I think what's so difficult about being on a video camera now is that that human interaction that I once had is completely gone now. And I'm having to stare in front of a camera and getting zero feedback. And in essence, it's like looking into the mirror for me. And that's a hard thing to do. But for those of you who are members of the New Voice, you always hear me also say, that's the part that is the real skill. How do we start to look in the camera, look in the mirror, and feel good about what we see? And the answer I always give is it's about practice. Practice, practice, practice. So for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome again. I hope you will continue to come back and practice with us because it's a brand new world out there. We are now in the Zoom generation, as they call it. This is how we're going to interact in the future. We'll still have in-person meetings, but from here on out, we all know how to Zoom. And so looking good on camera is just as important a skill as being good on stage in front of people. So with that said, again, welcome to you all. Keep that in mind as to why we're here is this is practice, to look good, and ultimately to be okay looking in the mirror, which is why we live stream it. And that's the final remark I make before we start the show, which is after the meeting's over, we're going to share the link with everybody that it's all live streamed. We are in 720 for those of you who kind of understand video. That quality is so-so, but if you go to the live stream, that's in 1080p, which is high quality and high def. So you want to really think about what you look on the camera in high def. The live stream is where you want to go check that out, and that's the tool that will provide you after the meeting's over as well. Okay. Any questions before we get the show on the road? Again, welcome to the new folks. I see some new faces. We'll try to get to you guys after table topics to say hello, so please stick around. But with that being said, Kaylee, Sean, anything to add before we get the show on the road? No?
I don't think so. I think you hit it all.
Well, Henry,
yes.
If you go to the NVL Live support channel, there have been a few people who have been posting.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Yes.
There it is.
So yeah, so you'll see that that's live. So we are live streaming this to YouTube. So your feedback is being streamed live to YouTube so that the people who speak are going to see it as they're speaking as well. So that's why we want that support channel to be going constantly. So if you're on it, I know you're paying attention to speakers and all that, but make sure you give your thumbs up or comments to them in that support channel. Okay, with that said, we'll get the show on the road. That's Sean. Sorry. There we go. That's me. Like I said, we're still working out the kinks. But how about that intro? I'll never get tired of that intro. Homer Simpson is our mascot for the New Voice, so you'll hear Homer after every speech. He'll be coming back on as the applause. But welcome everyone to the New Voice Live. We have been doing here for the past, call it 8 weeks now, is kind of the traditional meeting where we're just spending our time on table topics to give everyone a chance to speak. As always, it's around the coronavirus, how it's affecting us, and over the past 8 weeks or so, we've had some really compelling stories. I hope we'll have some more of those. But what I'd like to do is start to transition us from a place where we're kind of sharing our personal stories about coronavirus to now changing our perspectives to the future. We are in this place where I think we've got cabin fever. We're getting tired of being cooped up. And I think that we're all looking forward to a new beginning. And that's what I'd like us to start to focus on. So our table topics tonight is how coronavirus has changed your perspective. And the question that we're asking everyone is, what do you look forward to most once we get past the pandemic as well? But it's a change in attitude for us of looking towards the future now, and how we're going to have to cope with the new world that we live in. So I think we've got hopefully most of the slots filled up. And again, if you haven't filled out the question as well, please fill that out so that we can show that on the screen. So before we get started with our table topics, I did want to share a survey. So Kaylee, can you put on that survey?
Yes, indeed. Give me 1 second, guys. We're going to share a screen for a second, so you'll see a survey pop up on your screen right now.
Yeah, again, so for those of you who are longtime members of the New Voice, you've heard me talk about speaking as being the #1 fear, above death. And for a while, I was like, is that an urban legend? Is that real? So I went back and did some research to find out whether that, if it was a factual survey and study, and it turns out it was. You can see the results of that study on the far right of this chart. It says 1973 Bruskin Associates findings. That survey was given to college-age kids, and basically it said, list your most common fears. And in that survey back in 1973, you'll see that speaking before a group was the #1 fear. Death came in third. What's interesting is that there's a new group, and you'll see the names Karen Kangas-Dwyer and Marlena M. Davidson. They redid the study. They were curious to know whether, first of all, they wanted to know whether the study was real as well. And second, if they did it today, what would that look like? And so you'll see the other study, 2010, they redid the study to the college students, same demographic essentially, and speaking in front of a group was listed again as the #1 fear ahead of death. Now, financial problems come second, and to me, that's no small surprise. That speaking before a group and financial problems go hand in hand, because for me, that's the solution and that's the answer to much of our struggles is how do we present ourselves? How do we get to a place where somebody wants to hire us? What do we have to do to promote ourselves to people so that they go, that's somebody I want to hire. That's somebody I want to hang out with. And I think that's the reason that we are all here at Toastmasters, is to figure that out. And as you may have already seen on the far left, there's a word for this. It's called glossophobia, the fear of public speaking. Now, I kind of find it ironic that they call it a phobia when speaking in front of a group of strangers is the #1 fear. So I don't know that you can necessarily call it a phobia if it's the most common fear of all. So for me, the idea that we're all glossophobes, you might as well say that everyone on the planet is a glossophobe. So welcome, fellow glossophobes, to the Toastmasters New Voice. We are here to conquer our fear of public speaking. And I do know in past experiences, there have been some people who say, you know what, I'm not afraid of it. I love speaking in front of the public. And so that's why I wanted to throw up the poll. So Sean, if you can throw up our poll. I'd like to know how you all are when it comes to speaking in front of an audience. Sean's going to launch a poll here for us. Johnny, need help with that? Should I try to get it on my end?
It's up. I did launch it.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see the results, but Sean will share the results here shortly. It looks like a pretty even spread amongst the folks that are in the audience, which is great. And I hope that what we'll be able to do, Sean, I think we can probably end it and you can share the results. So I hope what we'll be able to do is to cater to everyone on the spectrum. There are people here who I know want the mic. They want to get up on stage. They want to be able to express themselves and tell the world what they can do. And then there are others of us here who are terrified of it. I think the answer for all of us, though, is to do the practice thing, which is why we're all here. So that's my way of saying thanks for coming. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you all come back, because this is the way that we're all going to get better, either if we love the mic or we're terrified of it. There's only one answer. Come back and do it. Okay? So thanks for coming. With that being said, I'm going to turn this over to our table topics master of the evening, Kaylee. So Kaylee, why don't you take it away?
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's great seeing so many faces, especially so many new faces. And oh, here I am. Guests, thanks for being here. I know, we didn't have a chance to introduce you yet. Please do stay till the end. I'd love to say hello to you then if you don't get a chance to speak during table topics. But I see quite a few new faces. Mika, Lilette, we've got Rob, Lisa. I just want to welcome you. You can also stay afterwards as well. We have an after hours in which we can speak a little more informally and talk to folks and welcome all you new folks. Yeah, so table topics this evening, as Henry said, will go along sort of similar lines as we've been doing, I think, for the past 7 weeks. What are we in? Week 9, I think, of the pandemic. We've been focusing on using this as a space to talk about what's going on in our lives during this historical time. I guarantee that years from now, you're going to be sitting around the kitchen table with kids or friends or family, and someone's going to ask you where you were during the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. And we have an opportunity now to sort of think about those stories, think about our experiences and reflect on them. It struck me too when Henry put up the statistics there that speaking in public, financial problems, death, loneliness, 3 of those we're really dealing with right now during this crazy time in history that we're going through. So again, this is a space for you to talk about your fears, to talk about what's going on. We really want to make this an open space for you to share and to be with one another during this moment in history that we're sharing. So I have a pretty good list here going for table topics. It looks like we have 1 slot left. You're welcome. Anyone is welcome to speak during our table topics. For those of you unfamiliar with Toastmasters, this is a time of about 2 minutes that you have to speak on the topic of the evening, which will be, how has the coronavirus pandemic changed your perspective? And I'll tell you, I'm really excited to hear the answers this group comes up with. Over the last 7 weeks, I've noticed this group to be really a thoughtful, introspective group, which frankly doesn't really surprise me. That's the sort of person who's usually drawn to Toastmasters. But I've also noticed that this group tends towards looking at things in a little bit of a different perspective and looking for the silver lining during this dire situation. So I'm really intrigued to see how y'all are going to answer this. So again, the table topics question of the evening is, how has your perspective changed during this pandemic? And thank you for signing up. We've got a great list here. So we're going to kick it off now with my friend Rajiv. Rajiv's a great friend of the club, and it's great to see you back. And Rajiv, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Excellent. Rajiv's from New York, and he's looking forward to going to PhD Rooftop Downtown. What's that? Is that a Toastmasters group?
No, that's actually one of the dopest rooftops in New York City. It has an amazing view of the New York City skyline. And it's in a hotel called the PhD Dream Hotel downtown.
Hey, well, you're inviting us there for a drink as soon as we're all out and can get
Yeah,
together in person.
yeah, absolutely. So we usually have like a lot of events there, especially fashion shows. So I'd love to extend the invitation to everyone here to come check out an awesome fashion show and party the night away.
All right. Well, remember, we'll hold you to that. Thanks, Rajiv, for
Absolutely,
being
please
here.
do.
You can take it away.
Awesome. So what's the question I'm answering? How has Corona changed my perspective? Is that the question?
Yes, that is. How has the coronavirus pandemic changed your perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question. Corona, I think, has made everyone stop and reassess their life, reassess what's important to them. Uh, and so far, while me and some friends, we gathered around and were having a conversation, and we were beginning to ask this proverbial question of what brings you joy? And we started speaking about this, and we ended up laughing hysterically about something. I can take responsibility for the laughing hysterically part because I tell everyone that I have a disability. I have a laughing disability. And basically, when I start laughing, it's very hard for me to stop. Similar to Joaquin Phoenix's character in The Joker, where the guy just can't stop laughing. Something similar to that. The only difference is I don't have any, criminal bent of mind. But aside from that, yeah, it's very similar. But I digress. So we are asking this question: what brings you joy? And then we decided to create a talk show out of it, and that was birthed the idea of the Joyride podcast. So Joyride podcast is a project of me and some friends. Incidentally, these friends are people that I met at another Toastmaster group. And so, when it comes to Toastmasters, you know that this is the birthplace of genius and awesome, high quality people. So look around, spend time with people because this is where you'll find great collaboration partners. So Joyride airs every Saturday morning on Facebook Live, usually 11:30. Sometimes it's a little bit earlier if we have international guests, just like last week when we were speaking to somebody from Sweden. So we were at 10 a.m., but usually it's 11:30 a.m. on Saturday mornings on Facebook Live. So please check us out. And if anyone would like to be featured as our guest, please do reach out to me, and we'd be so happy to have you on our show. And thank you for having me again on this amazing network.
Thanks, Rajiv. Your podcast sounds very intriguing.
Thank you.
I love that you say you have a laughing disability.
I do. Believe me, don't trigger me, otherwise you'll hear me laughing for like 5 minutes straight.
I feel like sometimes when I get on camera, like when I'm on Zoom, I seem to have a laughing disability too. I think it's like a way of filling silence sometimes, but it's a great way of doing it, especially rather than filler words. So tell us again, we can listen to your podcast where?
This is on Facebook Live. I'll be putting the link in the chat so people can find it. It's basically facebook.com/The Joyride NY.
I love the name, The Joyride. Okay, yeah. Great. Thanks, Rajiv. And Rajiv, I also want to tell you, we had your friend Janet here at our meeting last week. Thank you so much for sending her our way.
Absolutely. Yeah. See, I'm like your brand ambassador, your evangelist, outreach evangelist. I'm happy to do that.
You're like our hype man. I love it. Thanks, Rajiv.
Happy to be here.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us again, Rajiv. Next up on our list for table topics is a friend of ours, Abubakar, who I remember from some meetings, I think in this last year. Abubakar, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How are you? It's great to see you.
I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
I'm well. Are you calling from New York?
Yeah.
All right, welcome. Well, it's great to see you. I'll let you take it away.
Yes. Yeah, so this whole corona pandemic haven't really changed my perspective that much. Basically, I'm an introvert, so I don't mind spending time indoors. But at the same time, it feels great just going outdoors and just seeing not many people outside. So it's a sigh of relief for me to be out there and not be around crowded with a lot of people at the same time. But sometimes at the same time, it helps me to be indoors and spend more time with my family and get to know them a lot. So I don't think I won't get this time as much as I would like to in the future. So, I'm kind of a little bit grateful that we're going through this, even though at the same time people are losing their lives at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Abubakar. Yeah, we definitely have both sides of it, right? That there's some upsides, there's some downsides. It's great to see you. Is there anything you're looking forward to after the lockdown ends? Anything that you're looking forward to going back to, or foods you're looking forward to eating?
I say going to the beach, going to the park, and going to McDonald's.
Yeah, going to the beach, absolutely. And maybe like staying 6 feet away from everyone on either side, but still being able to go outside. Sounds lovely to me as well.
Yeah.
It was great to hear from you, Abubakar. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks for that. Next person on the list is Lilette, who I believe is a new guest of ours. Lilette, are you there?
Yes.
And where are you calling from?
From New York City.
Welcome. It's great. How did you hear about our club?
I am a graduate of the new school many years ago. I graduated in 1996.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I'm a long time Toastmaster with a different club, and I've always wanted to visit your club, but today was a good opportunity, and I'm glad that I was able to make it.
That's great. We're happy to have you. It's great to have an alum, a connection to the school. Well, I'll let you take it away for Toastmasters, for Table Topics, rather.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends. This time of challenging pandemic, I was able to carve out some time to explore new possibilities. And it's interesting how I got into music because my husband is a high school band director, so he teaches music all day long, and he is a jazz saxophonist. My son is a classically trained cellist, but only during this pandemic did I realize that I can learn something from my husband. So I asked him to teach me voice lessons, and our first project was "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers, and he accompanied me on the piano and I sang, and then I shared it to friends and they said, "We've never heard you sing before." And I never showed any interest in their world. And between work and school, I'm going for a master's degree in a different university and Toastmasters, so I had my own life. But during this pandemic, I gave myself that option to really learn from them, and it's a great and my husband was kidding. It's like, I could have been teaching you for all these years. So I welcome that opportunity to learn something, and I think it's encouraging for us to be having this in a way in an era of internet, and what could we be doing if this happened without internet. And it could really take us, we could really explore the world without leaving home, and open our eyes to new places and spaces that we could only imagine before. But that's the silver lining. Thank you.
Thank you, Lilette. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a great perspective of how we can still learn things from people, even though we've known them for years, or maybe haven't thought about asking them to teach a new skill. I think that's awesome. Is there a song or a type of music you want to perform more of, or learn more of the singing skills for?
So my son is into classical music, right? Then my husband is into jazz music, but I like Broadway tunes. So I have to convince them. Like I like You've Got a Friend by Carole King.
Broadway.
Yeah, Broadway too. Yeah.
Yep. Well, very cool. That's a really neat skill that you have now. I hope you're taking some video recordings of it as well.
Yeah. I realize also it might be a good way for me to harness my speaking voice.
Yes.
Some Toastmasters have that command of the moment because their voice just is captivating. So I was
Using your
wondering if,
diaphragm, yeah.
yeah, I was wondering if I can learn something like that too, to control also nervousness and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a transferable
Yeah.
skill. Very cool. Well, we're happy to have you. Please come again. And
Yeah,
it's great
thank
to
you.
hear a little bit about your life. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Thanks again, Lilette. Next up is Emily, a longtime member. It's great to see you again, Emily. Are you there?
How are you?
I'm well. How's it going?
You all, how this pandemic has changed my perspective. So I think it has changed in many aspects. First, I used to love going to Manhattan to my office, but I'm really enjoying the work from home. So if it's possible, maybe to have the flexibility of spending more time working from home and some days going to the office, perhaps for important meetings. Also, my husband is looking for a possibility to be transferred to another country for a couple of months. So it would be great with the company to have this possibility of working from home for a couple of months from another place. Also, I'm doing a lot of things that I was not interested as Lilette. I bought a drawing book, something that I would say it's losing time, is wasting my time. So now I like having an audiobook on a side and start drawing. I think it made me relaxing, so it's great. But I'm also like thinking, how can I become more digital? I'm a salesperson and my company is very like Excel. Everything has to be in Excel and it's old fashioned. They are not tech savvy, but I think now with Microsoft Teams, with all the technology available, I think we have to learn more. And they call me the tech lady, but I think I'm really far away to be a tech lady, but I would love to learn more. So I'm thinking if I need to learn Python or something like that, also to be more digital. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. I think we'll call you the tech lady from now on. That's a pretty good nickname. One thing I appreciated about what you were saying about drawing is it's something that maybe in the past you would have thought of as like wasting time, and that perspective shift of being like, you know, if it's something you enjoy, how can it be a waste of time? Especially now when we have this sort of unlimited time. What kind of things do you draw? Do you draw with pencil or charcoal or?
Well, I'm really new, huh? So I bought some pencils and a book to draw, but it's really basic.
Well, that's great. I love it. That's great. Thanks, Emily, for being here. Next up will be another new guest of ours, Rob. Rob, are you there? Hi, Rob.
Hi.
How you doing? How'd you hear about our club?
Oh, I've been exploring some different Toastmasters in New York City and had always wanted to join yours, and I was on your mailing list and just got an email just the other day, and I was like, oh, this is great. I could really finally join. So I'm excited to be here.
It's one big advantage of being virtual. Yep, you can join from anywhere. Yeah, well, welcome. Take it away.
Well, I was really thinking about perspective and what Lilette and Emily had said, and also Rajiv is leaning into more creative endeavors. And it's something I myself am a designer, and creativity is part of my daily work and what I do. But it's opened my mind and my perspective in such a bigger way, and so many opportunities will come out of this. And I've been thinking a lot about it, and perspective is a great word for it. And it reminds me of the Renaissance and when they first started using perspective in drawing and art. And to me, this next stage that comes after this pandemic will be a new Renaissance. And I think for all kinds of creative leaders and people, and especially in New York, it's such a hub for that. This is a huge opportunity to start to hone your skills or explore new forms of creativity and think about how those can, lead the next wave of creativity and innovation that's going to come after this, so many industries and jobs are being affected, and it's forcing people to really step up and hone skills and learn new skills. And that perspective has been great for me and inspired me to be more to reach out more to communities and networks, and be more social and find a common ground around creativity and what can come out of this, and building a new perspective out of the state that we're in. So that's what I'm grateful for, and happy to be thinking about that and having some foresight around that.
Woohoo! Thanks for those thoughts, Rob.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think what you said definitely resounds on a couple levels, especially, finding silver linings again is something we've talked a lot about, and the outpouring of creativity during this time I have also noticed. You mentioned you're a designer. Is it graphic design, fashion, or what element?
Yeah, I'm in fashion design, but I went to school for industrial design. So, kind of spanned across some different categories. Maybe I'll end up at Rajiv's fashion show at the Dream Hotel.
Yeah, maybe you will. Yeah. Well, you've already made a pretty big leap from industrial to fashion, so I'll be curious to see what comes out of this pandemic outpouring of creativity for you next.
Yeah, right. The next chapter.
The next step. Yep. Great to hear for you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Very welcome, Rob. Next up on the list is Peter, a friend of our clubs. Peter, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
We can. How's it going with you? Nice to see you. I see you miss hugs. That's a good one. I do too.
Don't we all though? I mean, I just miss that, just being able to touch people in a non-creepy way.
Absolutely. I saw something about how Iceland is encouraging people to hug trees as an alternative to hugging people, which is lovely in theory, but not quite the same.
I actually hugged a tree 2 days ago. It was nice.
It was nice? All right. I like that. All right. Thanks for being here, Peter. I'll let you take it away.
Thanks. I finish taking myself in the shower because that's when I get my best speech ideas. And then when I run out to try to write them down, they just don't sound the same at all. But what I wanted to talk to you guys today is something that I've been mulling over, and it is related to perspective, and that's sort of being present. I know, I guess it's a theme that I've brought up in this forum before, but I had an epiphany while taking a shower a couple of days ago that, we're really bad at enjoying the present, and that's for a number of reasons, right? Social media, distractions, and things like that. But the analogy that I use is that it's sort of like we're always thinking about the future, always worrying about something. We're kind of like a dog who chases its tail, and when it happens, we don't even know what to do with it when we catch it, right? Eventually, we do catch it because time moves on, and the future state that we're ruminating about arrives. And more often than not, in my case, that future state, that thing that I was afraid of, or that thing that I was excited about, when it's happening, I can't enjoy it because I'm already thinking about the next thing. I'm just so out of touch with the present. I'm continuously trying to look to the future. So today's my birthday, actually, and I'm super happy to be able to join you guys. But even today, thinking about this morning, like, oh, what am I going to do today? And I'm just excited about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, when all I need to do is just take a breath and enjoy the present. The irony of this is, right, and the sort of sad part, first of all, the sad part is that because we're in the state, it really begs the question on what kind of experiences we're missing out on because we're always thinking about the future. What kind of experiences are we not fully present in, right? What kind of half sort of baked things are we going through with our friends and our loved ones because we're always thinking about something else? The good news is if you can practice being present, whether through mindfulness or meditation or prayer or whatever that thing is for you, turning off your cell phone, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in the positive sense. So you learn to be more present today. You worry or think less about the future. when that future moment comes, you're able to already enjoy it more because you were already doing it before. So that's how I will end it. It's a good loop, positive feedback loop. Try to enjoy the present. It's good practice for enjoying the future and all the stuff that you're concerned about. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, for that. And I think I'm gonna demand that we all come off mute and shout happy birthday. I'm not gonna make you all sing, but if everyone wants to just come off mute and say happy birthday, Peter, I will lead us in that, and maybe a clap.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Happy
Peter! I've tried the singing thing a couple times at people's birthday parties online, and it hasn't quite worked, so I thought we'd just shout out to you. But happy birthday, Peter. Very, very wonderful thoughts for your birthday. Very topical and appropriate, obviously, for this time we're going in. So thanks for that note about presence. And something you said about, practices really resounded with me. Is there any practice that you do to sort of practice being more present?
Yeah, I try to stick to a daily meditation in the morning. And if I can do that, I notice it sets the tone for the rest of the day. So just every day, show up and you'll be surprised with the results.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great discipline. All right, thank you, Peter, for sharing your thoughts. Excellent. So we'll keep on going here. Next up on the list is Dee. Dee, are you there? I know I saw her earlier.
Can you hear me now? Now, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Hi, Dee, how you doing?
Blessed and highly favored, which is what I always say. And this has given me the opportunity, as everybody else says, for a lot of introspection. My sister, who followed me, had a favorite thing. When you told her what didn't get done that day, she said you should plan one thing for a day, one thing per day, which is nonsense. Whoever plans one thing. But she says the reason so many people have so much of a hard time with this is poor time management. Well, you know what? I know a lot of people with very poor time management. And when I think of all the things that I now want to do, I have a whole list, and it will be a matter of time management to get this list on the way, get things done. It's okay to make a list. One of the biggest things, of course, with making the list is that we put too much on the list. And when you think about it, who put too much on the list? We put it ourselves. So we've got to think about it, put it in perspective, and also prioritize. I think it's Harvey Bernard who said that it's just a list, but it becomes an agenda when you put a time frame on it. So that's what I need to do. I'll just tell you the list because that's enough. One of the things I want to do is get back to playing piano again. It's such a long time. I haven't played. And I love piano. You would never believe it from the fact that I haven't played. And I would like to start teaching yoga. It's not as if I'm a good yogi, but you can learn and you can teach. And we all know that teaching helps you to learn better. There are other things I want to do. I want to continue with teaching, doing seminars. And it's funny, someone mentioned joy. What do you do for joy? That's the seminar most people remember me for. It was called Find Your Joy with Dr. D. And yes, I do find my joy. And you get to find your joy. It wasn't a seminar, it was a workshop. So each person contributed what that person did to make joy in their lives. And we need joy. And they left with a list of the things we can do every day to make ourselves more joyful, whatever that is. And for each person, of course, it's a different thing. But one of the things we all don't do is carve out time for ourselves in the day. Oprah Winfrey is the person who reminds everybody of that. What you do is on your calendar, you put that time of day that's for you. So when you go to the calendar to check something, that time's not available. And that's so important. Well, there are lots of things, but as you know, we have 1 to 2 minutes. And it's my joy to speak. I love to speak. I'm one of the people. I was born to a family of teachers, and I like to speak. I like to teach, and I like to learn. And we can all learn all the time. Bless you. And in this time of COVID, you will come up with even more fabulous things to remind you how great you are.
Thanks, Dee. Thank you, Dee, for sharing how you're spending your time these days. Maybe we can get you and Lilette together for a vocal and piano duet at some point, since you're both
That would be nice.
musical
It would,
endeavors.
it would also be nice if I could find somebody to take the place of my niece who has gone to her mother, because I can't stand being alone. Loneliness is one of my things.
That's on the top of the fear list for
there
sure.
might be people, there might be somebody who is looking for somewhere, because I live in the West Village. Everybody loves this area. And even though I can't afford it, I've been here such a long time that now I can afford it. And I do share. So if anybody's interested, let me know.
Well, it's great to see you. It's great to see you on video, and you have a lovely background with your plants there. So thanks for sharing, Dee.
Thank you. Bless you. And thank you so much, everybody.
You're welcome. Thanks, Dee. Thanks for sharing. Next up is Ellie, who I think just needs Peter to move out of the frame so she can get in there. How are you doing?
Oh, I am doing really great. How are you?
It's great to see you. I'm doing well, and you're in New Jersey, I understand, and you're missing shopping. That's what you're going to be doing when you get out of lockdown.
Yeah, it's just been so stressful, you know, not being able to go to a store and buy stuff, and shopping on Amazon and running to Target with like full hazmat suit and being able to touch stuff. Like, it's just crazy. But
yeah, it seems strange that it's been months since we've been in stores in a normal way.
Yeah. The everyday things, you know, like, so I think that just really looking forward to that, which I don't know, it's going to be, even for the foreseeable future, seems like that's going to be not back to normal the way we're used to it. And be a different way, but you know, it's yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say welcome. I don't want to take up more time, so you can go right into your table topics. Yeah.
Thank you for that. You know, it's funny because I was just listening to Dr. I really just want to echo her thoughts, because during this whole thing, you know, and even last time I spoke, you know, and that was like, I think like 2 weeks ago, and this week has just been absolutely really, really tough with work. I've been like, what it feels, you know, working just nonstop and going to bed at, you know, 1, 2 a.m., you know, and it's just, and then starting the next day, you know, 9, 8, and it's just, you know, not having enough sleep and not feeling like I don't have enough time. And, you know, and it's funny because I used to feel the same way before all this. I used to always complain about not having enough time, not being able to, you know, just do everything that I wanted to do. And I always felt like I had all this, like, this huge burden on me of all these things on my list that I wanted to check off. And I thought I was so good at like time management and, you know, I'm a very organized person and like OCD and all this stuff. And it's just like, oh my God, I suck at this. Like, I really do, you know, it's such a revelation, I think, like even having all this time being at home, that I still am complaining about the same thing, you know? And I'm just trying to find ways to do better at that. Like, you know, like not, you know, burning the midnight oil and, you know, just trying to take out time for myself and schedule time for myself. Like, no, I have to go eat. I have to go shower. I have to, you know, go meditate, whatever it is. Like, just taking that time out for yourself is really important. And I just want to add that I don't even have children. I can't even imagine in a place where I have to, like, not only, it's hard enough not to take the time out for myself, but also to care for a child or anybody else. Like, I don't even have that, and I'm still, you know, finding it really difficult. So I really commend, you know, parents and everybody who always feels like they have a lot to do, and they do it somehow miraculously. They just get it done. And and I just take my hat off to them because I struggle with it every day. So that's how I'll end, and I'll just say that I think every day is just a new way to just be better at planning things and learning from the previous day and making it better for the next day, and trying to like just really take out that time for yourself to really double down on your health and just what's important. So
Thanks, Ellie. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for coming back again.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've heard a couple of things about time management tonight, which is so interesting because time sort of, for me, seems to have like disappeared. It's just this endless days and nights, but we still have to manage our time, right? Especially for folks working from home. Is there anything in particular you like to do when you're turning yourself off from work and you're gonna have some time for yourself? Are there any activities you go to?
Yes, I'm actually a crazy plant lady because I don't have kids, right? And I have all these green babies. Literally, I can't even show you because you guys will think I'm insane. But in the background, you'll see some of them. But when I stop working, whatever, like literally, I'm watering my plants and spraying them. And Peter thinks I'm crazy. So yes, that's what I do in my spare time. I try to like take care of the household and like just try to keep things in order because it's tough. Like you have to like do a little bit of everything. So anyway, that's what I try to do. I try to like just have do the most important things and kind of work my way through there. And today's his birthday, like he mentioned earlier. So today I'm like, that's why I was in and out of the frame. It's because I was trying to cook and prepare his birthday stuff. So it was like, it's been really tough. But anyway, again, time management.
Yep, time management. That's lovely. You're having a little celebration tonight. Well, I love the crazy plant lady. Maybe that'll be your nickname. I feel like we're coming up with good nicknames for folks tonight. Crazy plant lady.
I'll actually send you guys a number of how many plants I have. You'll never guess. We'll do a little.
Oh yeah, please do. Come back next time and tell us how many plants you're taking care of over there.
Exactly.
Thanks, Ellie. It's great to hear from you. Moving along here, we have 2 more table topics left for the evening. Thanks so much for signing up, everyone. We have a great roster here tonight. Next up is Janelle. Janelle, can you hear me? Oh, I think we can't hear you.
Hi, I thought you were unmuting me. I just unmuted myself.
You're there, yep. Rajiv asked earlier where you were because he noted how bright it is outside, which I know where you are, but you want to tell folks where you are?
Oh, I'm in northern Michigan. We're at the 45th parallel, so in the middle of the summer, we'll get sunlight until 10 p.m.
Yeah, it does. It seems much brighter right there than in New York, so it looks really appealing. You're getting some vitamin D right now.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. I'll let you take it away for Table Topics.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. I just started my timer because I see that you have the timer going now, but I want to have mine in case I get distracted and go longer. I'm glad we're onto a new topic this week. I think it's great to start shifting our questions to how our perspectives have shifted, what we are looking forward to in the future. I do feel after about 2 months of this that we're kind of at that place where unfortunately we're kind of used to it. And I think that it's time to start looking forward. We're resilient, we've conquered what's going on, more not totally, but we've conquered a lot of our fears. We've accepted the situation in many ways. So it's good to start looking forward. I think for me, my perspective has really shifted in terms of what I value. I've learned that there's no need to live in a city for years by yourself and not be near your family. So this has been a really healing time of being near my family, kind of healing some old wounds, doing some work on myself, getting into a stronger meditation practice, and also working on pivoting to work that's more fulfilling, that's less stressful, working for myself, which I'm looking forward to. And in terms of what I'm looking forward to in the future is travel. It's just not something people are really doing right now. Doesn't really seem feasible. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think one of the biggest perspective shifts too has been to really value people. When I speak to a salesperson now on the phone or a stranger who calls, it's it's you just that person, and you are sharing a very similar perspective in terms of what, or you're going through the same thing together, and that brings you together, and you spend more time wanting to talk to that person or wanting to focus on that person, which is really nice and not something we had before.
Thanks, Janelle. Yeah, I think that's a great perspective.
Thank you.
Being kinder to folks who are working at call centers or for government agencies and are getting a lot of calls a day, I think is like a great recommendation. Have you had any chats with people on the phone who are elsewhere about anything coronavirus related or what's going on in their lives?
I've spoken with a friend in France, friend in Thailand. Today I spoke with a woman I didn't know for work, someone vetting one of our grant applications, and just right away we're kind of just in this situation. Our values and priorities have changed so much. Our Memorial Day weekend is not going to look the same like it used to, but this is the situation we're in.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you almost feel less lonely than you may have in the past. There's a commonality we can all relate to now.
Yep, I think a common experience definitely makes it easier to connect. And I've noticed that it's easier to build rapport on phone calls and on Zoom calls than we probably previously felt open to having. So I think that's really cool.
Right, me too.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Thanks, Janelle. Next up, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Please tell me if I'm not, but is it Jadwiga? And I believe you have a connection to someone here. Hi.
Hello.
So nice to meet you. And you're Peter's mother?
I am Peter's mom, and basically Peter kind of lured me to this meeting.
That's so wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
It's kind of unusual, but I'm very positively, I admire, guys, all your skills that you're having. So I am in different states, as you do know. I'm in Arizona, Peoria, so we have a sun 365 days per year only, and now it's even getting warmer. So it's a different perspective that I hear from you guys, absolutely. Which I really, visiting
welcome.
grandkids. This is the thing that when we talk about traveling, Janelle, that's what I'm missing, because even we have grandkids located in New Jersey and California. Back, it was much easier to see them than now due to the travel restrictions. So that's what I miss. The other things, and the youngest kids just moved out from the house, so we are empty nesters, which is kind of hard for us. So my option, I talk to Peter very often. I try to get in touch with our kids using electronic, like Zoom meeting platform, FaceTime. Thanks God, this is for me, it's a learning opportunity. I do exercise daily, yes, in my age we have to. And praying, it's very important. I'm Catholic, so in our state we can go back to masses, which is very important, and I'm very, very happy that it's possible. Seeing my friends, I wasn't able to see them. That's what I miss. Professionally, I work at school, so our school year, like in every other states, we didn't get a chance to see kids. So even like 2 days ago, we went to see kids. Not the kids, just to close basically school year return stuff. I'm a librarian. So it was a special parade organized. So we saw a huge wave of cars with parents and kids coming. We are like kind of outside on the curbside. Oh my God, we cried. Kids cried, us too, because we just miss regular meeting with them, even arguing, even all these activities. That was the most important, we just realized. So as I say, the new skills, I'm really astonished with the lady who wants to play piano. Oh my God. Yeah, learning language. I do know Polish, of course, I'm native. Latin, Russian, English a little bit, as you see, still my accent. I'm always afraid about the accent. Peter is laughing at me, but I'm afraid. So Spanish is the next goal, and Elise, just to learn Spanish. So this is mine. Yes, Elise is waving to me. That's what I will ask you for help, because I think languages are kind of our tools to communicate. I learned a lot living in USA, learning about other cultures and just be kind of respectful. So thank you very much. I really like the platform. It's amazing how many people, backgrounds, and it's huge learning opportunity for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jadwiga, for being here and joining us. This is wonderful. This is so great to have you. And it's very impressive you're learning a new language. And I want you to know we understand you very well. And it was great to hear you speak. How many grandchildren did you say you have?
We have 3 girls, yes.
You have 3 girls in Arizona?
Just one daughter just moved from Arizona to our state, but due to the quarantine obligation restrictions, we are not able to see them like the way how we wanted. So now maybe it will change. And we have one girl living in New Jersey. So.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. And you're able to see your son on his birthday through this amazing technology we have here.
It's a perfect gift for me as a mom, honestly.
Yeah. He's dabbing. Yeah, oh, that's so wonderful.
Very special. He's really very special young man.
We've really enjoyed having him as part of our club, and thank you, Peter, for inviting your mother. You're welcome back anytime.
Originally, I thought it's like kind of a crazy idea. Come on, mom, see me. What's the purpose? But I know
it's great.
Different platform of communication, so it's you never know.
I think just as you're learning new skills is important, we feel that too, and being able to be online with one another is a great advantage. And in the meantime, we're learning a new skill with how to be on camera, and I think you did a great job, and we'd love to see you back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jadwiga. I love it. I love it. I love the family affair. Everyone should bring their moms next week, okay? I'll bring my mom. You guys bring your moms. We'll teach them about Zoom. Great. Yeah, it's the modern world. This is how we're seeing our moms now.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone so much for participating in that Table Topics. Much like last week, we're doing sort of a new thing where we put up a poll at the end of Table Topics so that you can vote on just who you thought gave the best table topics of the evening, or which table topic you liked the best. So I'm going to throw up a poll, and we'll give you a couple minutes to respond to that. And the winner will be announced in our weekly email. So you might be made into a GIF, which should encourage you even more. Sorry, guys, I'm having a little trouble with the poll. Is that up on everyone's screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Take a few seconds for that. You'll see that the name of the speaker is corresponds to the number, the order they went in online. So I will read out names just as you guys are trying to figure this out. Speaker 1 was Rajiv. Speaker 2 was Abubakar. Speaker 3 was Lilette. Speaker 4 was Emily. Speaker 5 was Rob. Speaker 6 was Peter. Speaker 7 was Dee. Speaker 8 was Ellie. Speaker 9 was Janelle. Speaker 10 was Jadwiga. And again, just take a couple seconds for that. It's just who you felt you most enjoyed as a table topic speaker for this evening. All right, give you all about 15 more seconds or so. All right, great. Thanks so much for that. I'll end the poll, and again, check out the weekly email to see who won for Best Speaker of the Evening. Otherwise, thanks again, everyone, for being here. I'm going to turn it over to Toastmaster Henry.
Kaylee, thank you for that. I'm going to give you a virtual hand clap. I don't have the sound effect yet, but I'll get that in for next week. Wow, that was fantastic. I'm going to declare this meeting our best ever online. I think it went with the fewest hitches. We had some really great table topics, and for me, now that we've been at it for 2 months, I can definitely see an improvement, not only for myself but for everybody that's speaking as well. So it's working. That's what I feel like. And as we're fellow masters of toast, we know what the whole process is, which is do it, get at it. I tell everyone whenever we're in person, I'm always curious as to who walks into a door of a Toastmasters meeting. It is the number one fear. So it attracts a particular kind of person. It's somebody that does want to spend their time in self-improvement. But it's also the type of self-improvement that isn't the feel-good, oh, I'm great, I'm going to tell myself I'm confident. It's the self-improvement that says, I'm going to look really hard in the mirror and focus on the things that I know I don't want to see. The mistakes, the hard things that are difficult to look at, the things that make us feel embarrassed or ugly on camera. But that's why we're here. And I can tell you, it looks a heck of a lot better 2 months than it did, when we first started out. So kudos to you all. Again, my final plea for you all is keep coming back. Invite your friends. We've got a couple people here who are the perfect inviters of friends, the perfect networkers. Rajiv has sent many people here. Peter sent many people here. Oh, and the other thing too, I have forgotten to do is to mention our outstanding student leader, Maya. Let me see if I can get her on the screen for us. Maya is from the new school, and she is our students representative. And she was just actually awarded from the new school the outstanding student leader of the new school. So she deserves a round of applause as well. Again, I'll have to get that fixed at some point in time. We get it virtually. But the whole point with us in the new school is it's a collaboration. We have been at the new school for a number of years, close to 10 plus, I think. And it's a very different environment, and we are only here because of them. And so I wanted to invite Maya to say hello and tell everyone about where she's at and what she's doing, and maybe some prospects about what they're saying for new school for us next year, because again, we all want to be in person, but we're in the hands of the new school and their schedule. So let me invite Maya to come on and tell us how she's doing and what the plans are for next year. Maya, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I just forgot to unmute myself. Hi, I'm Maya. I noticed that there are a lot of new faces that I haven't seen before. I've been a part of Toastmasters for 3 years now. I joined when I was a freshman in college, and now I'm a junior going to senior year. We are hoping that Toastmasters can be in person as classes and everything keeps going. But unfortunately, we still have the directive that the school is going to be open, but we don't know in what capacity yet. I hope to update you in regards to that as I get the information as a student. But this seems to be working out really, really well. I think that the use of technology is really nice because we get to see so many people that aren't able to come to those Friday meetings after work. So I hope to hear all the stories and keep this going throughout the entire summer. Because previously we've had to rely on the new school, and I think this is a great option for people. So I look forward to meeting everyone again and meeting the new people. I am not in New York. I saw that question. I'm actually I was in New York, and I study in New York. But I left for spring break, and then 2 days later, the lockdown hit in my state. So I've been in California for 7 weeks now. So
again, well, the beauty of being in the virtual world is you can patch in from California, and that's
Yeah.
really the whole point of it all too. That's why we've been doing this. Is unlike regular Toastmasters, we can't, we don't have to physically be in the same location. So spread the word. Tell your friends. It's an easy link to share. And I think that you all will agree that, you know, we're in a completely different world. And I'm really viewing this as the way that we're going to be interacting with the world going forward. So for me, it's great to see you all. I get to catch up with old friends every week, but there's a real skill set here. So keep on coming back and invite your friends. Before we sign off, I do want to say hello to the guests. Anybody that we missed, Kaylee, should we make sure we get the guests?
Yeah, I'd
Anybody?
love to hear from those folks who didn't get to speak, who are guests, just so we know who you are in the future. Annie, Lisa, or Mika, are any of you still here with us? If you can hear me and would like to come off mute, we'd love to just hear who you are, where you're from, how you heard about our club. Mika or Annie or Lisa? If you're there, I see cameras are off, so they may not be available.
Not be there. Well, if they're there and they can hear us, thanks for coming. Welcome back. And for those of you also, we do after hours. And the after hours are meant to, sorry, bear with me here. I'm still a one-man shop.
It's always good when you're surprised.
There we go. So we do after hours for anybody that wants to get into the channel and be supportive of our speakers as well. It's also a time to ask questions about our club. If anybody wants to know more, feel free to stay after. It's a great time to catch up. And you know what tends to happen in our in-person meetings is what we're always trying to do is to create a bit of anxiety before you get up on stage. And that's why we've put all this work into creating our channel, is that before you get on the table topics, we want that little anxiety and that butterflies in the stomach to happen, because that's what makes it fun and interesting. But then what happens afterwards is you get that high, is you're around a bunch of other people who also went through that high. So you always kind of want to say, wasn't that great? So that's what after hours is meant to be. Also meant to be adult friendly, so grab your favorite cocktail, which is what I'm going to do. Come back, chill out, hang out, and we'll also, as I said, if anybody wants to get onto the channel or have any questions about how to do that, let us know. One other thing too, what we did last week is we also asked people to stay afterwards and give their feedback. And we found that really helpful as well. So if you can stay and give us your feedback on things you liked, didn't like, what we can improve, we definitely want to hear that from you as well. So with that said, do I have anybody with questions or anything? Sean, Kaylee, have I left anything out before we wrap up?
You mentioned the alcohol, right? You can drink alcohol after hours. Just want to make sure everyone knows that.
Yes, you know, for Toastmasters, it's about looking presentable on camera. After hours, doesn't matter. So get your favorite cocktail.
I think 4:30 is a little early.
That's California
But then again,
time.
it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Exactly. So, and it's coronavirus. Nobody's paying attention anymore. We can't drink anywhere else. We might as well do it at home. So with that said, go grab your favorite cocktail. I think Kaylee and Sean tend to stick around to answer any questions. But I'm going to patch out here, grab my drink, and then come back and meet you all for some after-hour cocktails.